Fairly long, so go ahead and fast forward to the sections that you need to see. We are going to be walking through a mock version of the quiz. And so your quiz is going to be 4 questions, 2 that are circles and 2 that are ellipses. So let's go ahead and take a look. On this first one here, what you're going to need to do is give me the center. And that center comes from your shift that happens with your x and your y. Remember, x minus h squared and y minus k squared, and your center is going to be h comma k. So we want it to be a negative in order for the center to be a positive. So x minus 1 gives us a 1, and then y plus 3 gives us a negative 3. So that is going to be the center. So 1, negative 3, here is my center, and then 16 is going to reference my radius. So the radius is going to be the square root of that, so square root of 16 is equal to 4. So in order to get this drawn, I'm going to go 4 down, 4 side to side, and then 4 up, and see if I can graph this. I realize it's very, very difficult to draw a circle from coordinates, but do the best that you can, right? So mine already is starting to look like an alien head, but do the best you can, okay? So that's the first one. The second one, something similar, except I have a plus on both of these, which means my center contains both negative numbers. So negative 1 and then negative 4. So negative 1, negative 4 is right here. And my radius squared, right? That's what that equals, is 4. So that means my radius is equal to 2. So I'm going to go up 2, down 2, over 2, and over 2 this way. And I should have a value something like this. Okay, let's take a look at ellipses. So here is an example ellipse. Remember, the first thing I do is I look at my denominators. The larger of the 2 denominators is going to be my a squared. The smaller of my denominators is going to be b squared. Whichever one is associated with a is going to be the axis that is longer. So this is going to be a vertical ellipse, okay? So I know that if a squared is 9, then a is equal to 3. If b squared is 4, then b is equal to 2. Now I got to find my center. Finding the center is just like I find it on my circle. So I have minus 4 and minus 3. So my center is going to be 4, 3. And then I'm going to go ahead and plot that. So 4, 3 is my center. And I use my A to determine how long it's going to be. So 3 up and 3 down. So that would be my vertices. Okay, so my vertices, there's 2 of them. There's a top one and there's a bottom one. And what I'm going to do is just really look at where on this graph they're located. So I have 4, 0 for that vertex. And then I have 4, 6 for my other vertex. So those are my vertices. And then I have what's called co-vertices. And the co-vertices are from my minor axis, or the short side of my ellipse. And so that is based off of B. So I have 2 going on either side. And so now I can have, well, let's go ahead and plot those lines. The first one I have is 2, 3. And the next one I have is 6, 3. Okay, so I'm just plotting these 2 lines and putting those in as co-vertices. All right, so now I'm ready to go ahead and draw this out. So I'm just going to connect the dots in a circular kind of pattern. Again, this is going to be kind of difficult to draw. The third thing we want to do is we want to find the focus or the foci that are located. It's going to be difficult to graph. So if you're unable to graph it, as long as you have your coordinates, that's really what matters. So the foci, remember, we get that from doing c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So c squared equals 9 minus 4. So that's going to be the value of 5. And then we're going to take c is equal to the square root of 5. And we will definitely want to do that on our calculators just to estimate a number, so when it's time for us to graph it that we're in good shape. So if on my calculator, I go ahead and take the square root of 5, I end up with about 2.236. You can give me just one decimal, that's fine. But for those of you who are taking AP Calculus next year, get in the habit of showing three decimals, because you'll need to do that. So 2.236, so that's about 2 1/4, or a little bit less than 2 1/4. So my focus would be right around there and right around there. Now, it sits above and below my center mark. And so my X values are going to be the same on both of those foci. Let me go ahead and put this in red. Okay, so both of them are going to sit at 4 on my X plane. And then because my Y value of my center is 3, I'm going to do 3 plus 2.236, which is going to equal 5.236. Okay, that'll be this one that's right there. And then the other one is going to be 3 minus 2.236. And so that one is going to be this one. Oop, I just erased that. It's going to be the one that's right here. And so that is going to be the difference between that, which 3 minus 2.236 is going to give me 0.764. So 0.764 is what I've got. And that should be all you need for that one. All right, let's go on over to this one. If I have -1 and 4, my center is going to be 1, -4. So 1, -4 is my center. My radius is going to be based on my A and my B. So this is A squared and this is B squared. Remember, A squared is always the bigger number. It's always the bigger number. So A would be the square root of that. So A is 6 and B is going to be 3. So I'll go ahead and from my center, because the bigger number is under my X, it's going to be a horizontal, meaning it's going to be wide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those are my vertex. So my vertex, let's go ahead and plot those. This one is at 7, -4, and this one is at -5, -4. So those are my vertex. Then I'm going to do my co-vertex. Those are related to B. So I'm going to go 3 up and 3 down. And so the co-vertex, to plot those, are going to be 1, -1, and 1, -7. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and make my ellipse. Again, it's going to be kind of funky looking. In fact, I think I'm going to try doing this a little bit better. Let's see if I can do that a little bit better. Okay, apparently I can't. You get the idea, okay? So it looks like a little bit of a lopsided egg. And then for the foci, remember that's based on C. So C squared equals A squared minus B squared. So C squared is going to be 36 minus 9. And so that's going to give me a C squared of 27. So C is going to be the square root of 27, which is approximately, put that in my calculator. So the square root of 27 is about 5.196. And so it's just going to be, you can actually probably see this focus as we plot it. It's going to go in the x direction. So in the x direction, my center is at 1. So I'm going to do 1 plus 5.196 and 1 minus 5.196. So 5 plus 5.196 gives me 6.196, and I'm at -4. And then on the other side, if I do 1 minus 5.196, I get -4.196 and -4. So these are my foci. So we've got that one. We've got my co-vertex, my vertex, and my center, and then my graph. So these are the things that you're going to have to know. Now, just a couple tidbits. If you have, let's say I have x squared plus y minus 3 squared over 16 equals 1. Okay, if there's nothing under this one, assume that it's over 1, and then that would be your b squared. Okay, if you have something that is like, let's say I have 9x squared plus, let's say y minus 3 squared equals 9. Remember, I have to get this one down to 1. So I would have to divide everything by 9. And that would end up giving me x squared over 1 plus y minus 3 squared over 9 equals 1. So my center would be 0, 3, and then my a value would be 3, and my b value would be 1. So just be careful. If you get something that's, a little bit out of the ordinary, just know that you can get it back into that standard form in order to go ahead and solve it.